Okay, it looks like we're live. It looks like we're on the page. We got some people there. Simran, Michael. No, that's a replay. Okay, just double checking if we are actually on the page. And then we're going to give Casey a few seconds, maybe a minute to come in. And then we're going to kick it off. Yeah, we're live. Great. All right, everything is working nice. Now, the only thing we need to do is we need to wait for our other guest, Casey. But in the meantime, Lisa, welcome. Good evening.
It's morning.
It's 6 p.m. in Australia. Is it Thursday already? Or is it still Wednesday?
It's Thursday. No, it's Wednesday. Let's start.
Okay, guys, we have two guests on the show. Lisa from Australia and Casey from Singapore. Casey is struggling with some technical issues. She should be on her way in the next couple of minutes. But in the meantime, I would like to introduce Lisa. Lisa runs a digital agency in Australia, is just as fanatic about messenger bots, online marketing like I am. And she teamed up with Casey to build something truly amazing with using augmented reality, AR, in order to generate leads and build actually a pretty cool game. And Lisa, you tell it yourself. It's probably better. Just introduce yourself. Who are you? Where are you from? And what are you doing?
Well, you kind of introduced me. So I've got my digital agency and we specialize in Facebook ads and really only relatively recently messenger bots, but because the demand is kind of exceeding anything else that we've got. So we've been building up a lot of that that knowledge in the team. So we work with brands, not just on those components, but also as kind of an omni-channel strategy. So connecting channels, so making sure that they're getting the most out of their strategies by connecting those channels with technology. So that's essentially what we do. So Taco Bill, as an example, is one of those clients we work across multiple channels, and we help them to utilize a macro budget because they've been around for more than 50 years. But they really don't have the kind of volume that their competitors have in the franchise space. So working with a macro budget, did you want to ask a question?
No, just want to be clear because we're not talking about Taco Bell that a lot of people know.
Yeah.
This is actual Taco Bill, and Taco Bill is absolutely famous in Australia. But before we're going to dive into Taco Bill, what did you do in the previous life? What did you do before you became a badass marketer?
Always been. No, I was 20 years in large enterprise in digital production and project management. So I did big multi-million-dollar projects. I'd studied marketing, so then I left the workforce to move into agency side. So I worked in agency side in digital production and strategy. So I did that for about 5 years before going out on my own 3 years ago. But we did a lot of website production. Then we started moving into Facebook ads, ditched the website production. It's not something that I love as much.
I've been there.
I had a chat to someone today. They were putting all their spend, they're a not-for-profit, and they were putting all their spend in their website and had a really, down-to-earth discussion about where technology is going and where that spend really needs to go in terms of conversational style marketing. Forget the brochure type website and put more of your budget into how you're building out that conversation.
Awesome. Sounds awesome. Hey, and you started for yourself about 3 years ago, and where are you now with the business?
So I've got a team, relatively small still. We've got a space, I don't know if you can see it in the background, but I'm in a co-warehousing space with a small team. I've got some people here and some all over the world. But yeah, we work in this awesome co-working warehousing space with about 100 other e-com businesses. So it's a pretty cool space.
Cool, good stuff. Hey, thank you for that intro, Lisa. I just want to double check because I see Casey here, but I don't see her. Casey, can you hear us? Let me just go in here. Casey. Casey's all prepped and done, but for some reason I'm not able to. Just gonna get her in the. Don't. Okay, we'll be trying to get Casey in. In the meantime, we're just gonna kick this off. Hey, so Lisa, how did you get into the messenger bots?
Just probably the last maybe 2 years, I've really focused on Facebook advertising, and over the last 6 months, trying out new things and seeing, obviously messenger bots are a really great way to extend the life of a Facebook campaign. So when you're struggling to get dollars out of your Facebook ads, messenger bots are fantastic. So working with more restaurant clients has been one of the big reasons why I have, because they're so they're so necessary in some of those conversations early on in the site. So worked with a couple of restaurants, and ultimately it's been finding solutions that are going to work.
That's great. That's awesome. So, Casey, I'm sorry, Lisa, I'm just going to interrupt you quickly. Casey, can you hear us? Can you see us?
I can hear you.
It's happening. Right there. Okay, cool. Okay, Casey, just give me 1 sec, because Lisa, you mentioned that the messenger bots give you an uptick on your Facebook campaigns. Can you share a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so in a number of ways, I'm starting to understand that now after the campaign, but in terms of carrying on the conversation, maximising spend because you've got that organic engagement, particularly now understanding the growth tool, the keyword growth tool, and how much impact that can have on extending the life of a campaign. So, in restaurants, there's a lot of conversation that needs to happen to get the sale, in terms of booking, in terms of menus. There's so much you need to get across. It's just not capable in a website or in a Facebook ad. So it extends the life of that conversation and allows us to do things like we did with the AR.
Yeah, so that's super interesting. And so let's do the restaurants real quick. How are you then managing the face? How are you utilizing, so let's say, the user acquisition and the messenger side of things, because you explain it as two different things, which I think is interesting.
So in terms of, we've got a number of bots. So for example, Taco Bell, we've got, obviously when they get to site, we do a lot to kind of provide information and walk them through the process to a sale. Versus, somewhere where we're trying to get them into our club and we're, walking them through the sale in terms of what we offer them, and then delivering coupons to them. So there's loads that we're doing in terms of the customer acquisition.
Awesome. Quick one, because I know this is a question I get a lot. Do you send your traffic to a lander in order to convert them from a lander to Messenger, or do you send them directly into Messenger, or maybe even something else?
Well, I do both. I do loads of things to try and get more out of stuff. So, for example, with the game, we had it going straight into the bot. We also had it going straight into a lander, back into the bot. And on the website, we've got it going into the website and then into the bot. But lots of things work.
Not true.
And, versus what you expect. So it could be, and we'll probably get into this more shortly, but we realised early on that we had to use a bot to deliver the game for a particular reason. But it actually, in hindsight, worked really, really well in terms of what we can, get out of the rest of the conversation, like signing up to Club Taco, bookings and reminders, and there's loads that goes on in terms of that sequence.
Exactly, and that is where the magic happens when it comes to Messenger. So you use your ads and your top of funnel, whatever the kinds of ads are, you acquire your people, you get them into Messenger, and then you nurture them in Messenger. You keep you start the conversation, you keep the conversation going, and I think that's one of the awesome things that Messenger enables you to do, and especially for restaurant clients, where restaurants could have a particularly high lifetime value if you're able to keep the conversation going and keep the users engaged, however you do it. And I think the game that you guys created is an epic example of that, but we're going to dive into that. I can see Tim is here as well. What's up, Tim? All the way from Bangkok. Tim is going to dive into restaurants as well, so he's probably listening here with Casey.
Yo,
Yo, what's up?
I was early to the party.
I know, you're early, and then shit went wrong, but you're here. Amazing. Welcome all the way from Singapore. So we got three. We were from all over the world. That's amazing. We got Tim is from Bangkok. I see Shashank. Where are you from, guys? Just let us know in the comments where you're from. So that would be awesome. Casey, we know each other for a while, but introduce yourself to our viewers. Who are you? Who's Casey Lane Millhouse Singh?
So I'm a part bot that doesn't work very well, and I'm a human. So I run a digital agency out of Singapore, here, where I've been living for the past almost 10 years, 9 years now. Our agency specializes in all of the innovative technology coming out, like the AR. We also do GIFs. For those of you who don't know, actually Jiffy and Tenor are one of the most powerful advertising platforms that there is out there right now.
Which one?
Jiffy and Tenor, they're actually advertising platforms. And we also like to do stickers, chatbots, and also I do have that background of Facebook ads, so I can combine the marketing as well as the new tech. So that's a little bit about me. Yeah, so what else you guys want to know?
So Jiffy, we use Jiffy most of the times to spice up our messenger flows and maybe sometimes in an email. But really quick, I don't want to stray away too far from the AR subject where we're talking about augmented reality. But
Yeah.
touch upon Jiffy marketing real quick.
Yeah, so I really believe that you have to delight and surprise people to really make an impact in whatever you're doing. So Jiffy and Tenor, they are just about everywhere in messenger apps, on Facebook, even like the stickers go into Snapchat and Instagram and TikTok, which is another fast growing social platform. These are ways that people can creatively express how they're feeling, but what they don't know is that they're sharing ads with each other. So that's just a little bit about the Jiffy and
How are they sharing ads then?
So a lot of the GIFs that are created are actually created by brands. So you have the entertainment industry and a lot of fast-moving consumer goods. They're actually creating this content on the platform, and then they can do geo-targeting based on wherever people are located. If they want to promote a certain movie or a certain TV show or a certain artist. And so that's really why we start seeing a lot of like movie, whenever there's like a movie launch, you're going to start seeing a lot of GIFs about that movie.
Okay, cool. Never knew that. I just used them and then I never knew that. That's cool. That's interesting to know. Okay, cool. So, but you are diving headfirst into so beyond the Jiffy and the Tenor stuff. I know you're doing that, but you're one of probably the only one I know that's going headfirst into AR, augmented reality. Why AR? Did you wake up at one moment and one morning you thought, hey, well, I'm going to do AR?
It was kind of like a natural progression. So I used to work in marketing for a virtual reality company. And I loved that kind of like new and futuristic sort of like, this is how people are going to be interacting with each other in the future. And after I did that, I actually started my own agency a few months after I left that startup. The AR platform for Facebook launched, and I was only doing like regular ads and chatbots, and I was like, hey, this is really interesting. And I'm one of those types of people who like to figure things out and figure, is it like hype, or could I actually use this for businesses?
What is it? What's your verdict? Is it a hype, or is it real?
It's goddamn real, that's for sure.
The thing is, what you guys did is amazing, and that's why we're here. But in general, you don't see it. I know there's some big brands using AR, Sephora, for example, where you can have the makeup and everything. And you can see it actually how it works on your face, which I think is awesome. But if you would ask me, come up with one other brand besides Taco Bell that is using AR in their campaigns, I wouldn't know. So what's up with that?
I think that right now, the creators that are creating it, so it's an open source platform for developers. Right now, the creators that are doing it are just doing it to express their creativity. They're not really doing it for brands just yet. And the companies that are actually doing these types of AR experiences are doing them for like large budget brands. So they're doing it more for awareness. Whereas I'm coming from an angle that I want this to actually drive real results for my business, for the clients. And
so you mentioned a couple of interesting things. The big brands, awareness, huge budgets. For let's say the regular advertiser, which is not a corporate company, who doesn't have, let's say, 100K budgets a day or a week, why should we care about AR?
Well, there's lots of research that has been done recently from these larger AR companies, and there's like a lot of research with brain activity. So one of the interesting facts is that when you experience an AR experience, you almost double the levels of the visual attention compared to like a non-AR equivalent. So that's saying if we're doing an AR experiment or AR filter or a game, our attention is almost double that what it would be if we're watching somebody's video or looking at a Facebook ad. You know, if we think about it, the only time we remember an ad is if we see that ad again, okay? And then people are get annoyed from it. So that other part of it is that there's this sort of memory encoding that's happening. So in this study that was done, I think it was by like Neurosite, and they do a lot of neurological studies. They actually found that memory encoding is actually 70% higher with augmented reality. So
okay, that makes sense, and I also think because it's a new experience and you have to actually do something, that triggers all kinds of sensors and neurons and whatever the fuck is happening there, that it will help you understand or at least remember the experience more, and it gets time-stamped. That's what I understand. But the thing is, for the average advertiser, and I was just going to jump to Lisa real quick, is Lisa, how did you experience, because you guys, you already mentioned it, you don't have any mega budgets, and I expect you have, well, decent budgets. But how did you experience implementing AR for Taco Bell? Did you run into any issues? Was it easy? Was it difficult?
Yeah, so there's a lot to answer in that question. But the big thing for us is that the brand is very old, right? So it's been around for a long time, and what we notice the trend being is that the demographic is moving further away. So they're getting older and older because a lot of people grew up with the brand. They used to come into the restaurant. But that younger demographic from 18 to 25 was just missing completely. And the brand was getting really old. There's nothing we can do in terms of rebranding because the cost to rebrand is just so large. It's something that they're thinking of doing down the track. But we can't physically rebrand logos and change the face of the restaurant too much. So we had to do something that will really engage people on a whole new level in terms of waking them up, right? I see it as the brand being asleep. And we needed something that was low cost that could really wake people up and go, hang on, that's right. So the people who are in the older demographic, that's right, I used to go to Taco Bell. And the younger ones to go, well, hang on, and who are these people? So it's, for us, it was really about brand awareness. It was never really about conversions. Obviously, the conversions, are a plus, but that really about that brand awareness. And it's not longevity as well, because it's not something that you interact with once and say, okay, I've interacted with that, I'm going to walk away. A game has got so much more longevity in terms of people coming back to it and playing it again and being interested. And that's what we found. So a lot of people have replayed it over and over again. So they're not just walking away from it. So you don't have to think about retargeting as much because, you've captured them to retarget themselves.
That makes sense. And you mentioned that the Taco Bill, so not Taco Bell, was getting old. What were did you have a specific demographic in mind where you wanted this to land? And did that work out?
Yeah, absolutely. So the brand itself is actually really targeted towards a younger demographic in terms of, it's all about the colour, the vibrancy. They've got these fish bowls that you drink and you get a free sombrero. It's not necessarily targeted towards an older demographic who might want to quietly sit in a restaurant. So we really did want to bring the spark back. And we have a number of other strategies in terms of kids. We're doing a whole nother campaign to work on the kids club, but that 18 to 25-year-old demographic is just non-existent, and that used to be the demographic that we had a lot of. So yes, we were after them, and yes, we did get them. So
that's amazing.
Now we're part of that conversation, and that was our highest. I think it was about 70% in that demographic. So these are people who have never really experienced the brand. So yeah, it's incredible. It's really
so that's amazing. So actually, because you used AR, which is a fairly new technique, a new technology, you were able to pull in a younger demographic back to the brand Taco Bell and introduce the brand to them, and eventually even create brand awareness within this new group. And hopefully, off the back of that, you're able to use Messenger to keep in touch with them, push them to the page, maybe to a group, and send offers in order to get that new, fresh blood back in Bill using AR. That's amazing. That's super cool. And that was the goal up front.
Yeah, and it was, and it hasn't even really, we've only really touched the surface in terms of what we want to do with it. So that's why I'm talking about the longevity as well, and that, this whole campaign we're doing with kids, this game is great for them as well. And Casey and I spoke right at the beginning about which type of filter we would use or which type of game we would use. We had a few ideas. The big one was that we talked about that demographic, so we knew that this would work for that younger demographic. So it's going to have that longevity with the kids club that will start to engage them in different ways. And then also it's that 18 to 25-year-olds to get them, playing with it and engaging with the brand.
So
the biggest... Sorry.
No, you go.
I was just going to say, you also sort of asked a question in terms of problems. It is difficult when you come into some of these brands and you're consistently getting it. And it could be the reason why a lot of brands in this space, in this, in that really small to medium size, are not utilising the technology. I mean, they're only really starting to understand Messenger. So then you start throwing AR at them.
Yeah, that's what I can see. Because it's so new. I mean, for us, it's already new, and now you need to sell it to your client. So, client, we're going to use this new technology called AR, not VR, not AI, AR, and the plan is we're gonna get the kids into the brand, and then they're gonna buy stuff. and now give me money to get this done. How did you get that done?
I wanted to add something. Go ahead. I'll add something after.
I think the biggest thing I realised early on, we sit around with a table of 31 restaurants, and they're all owned separately. And so the fund that we use is the advertising fund that they all contribute to. So it's really important that we get everybody on board in terms of buying. But what I realised early on is that we had a table tent which we're doing a Club Taco sign up to, so a QR code that they, just wave their camera over and it sends them into the bot. That sent the entire room into somewhat of a frenzy because they couldn't open their camera. They couldn't, and can you imagine trying to sell a bot to these people? So they don't even know what a bot is. So I avoid all conversations that relate to the word bot or to the the actual pathway of the bot, because they just don't understand it, and they struggle with pressing the buttons and any of it. So really, to convince them, it's all about potential data and data, right? It's saying, look, there's a level of faith. There's also showing them the game. I mean, they love it's when you play the actual game, it's really easy to sell people on it. It's the pathway to getting to the bot and the technology around that can be more confusing. So it's really just focusing on people and working with it. I work much more closely with the CEO and the marketing team internally, who are much younger and more capable of kind of sitting at a round table and getting things across the room. But yeah, we certainly have a battle when it comes to the older franchisees who are mostly over 50.
So Casey, how were you able to help Lisa to get this actually sold?
I have no idea how she did it. It was really fast, to be honest. I just shared the process, how it would work. And then we set up all the systems to do that. She came back, she's like, yep, they like it, they're sold. So I shared with her a previous case study about the auto one that we had done earlier with another agency. So it was really easy. Lisa's really good at selling this, way better than I am. So yeah, it was a pretty easy process in that in that regard. And
to sell it, I made up a demo of somebody just a static image of somebody eating the tacos. And I think when you visualize something a little bit more, there's a bit more excitement. But because partly they don't understand the technology as well, you can kind of, if you take a lot of the words out, you take a lot of the words like bot and AR out of the conversation and talk about.
Because in the end, it's not that complex. Casey, just a quick one. Could you enlighten us a little bit on, let's say, we're excited about AR and we want to start using this in our businesses and for our clients. What can we expect to run into? What is it? Can you guide us a little bit on the process?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a handful of developers that we actually tap into that I work with. One of them is one of the main ones that actually Facebook made a documentary about and put on their main page. So his name is Mark. He's fantastic and awesome. He's actually the one that worked on Lisa's campaign. So what I do is I kind of see which developer would actually work well with the project. And then we come up with the concept with whoever the client is. From there, we took about 4 weeks, I think, to develop it, because there was a lot of moving parts to it. And even last week, we had a little bug in it that we had to go back and fix. So some of the effects can be very, very simple, like a face filter, which might only take a couple of weeks, or even less than a week for some of my developers.
Because that's AR too, so it doesn't have to be a complex game. It could also be a face filter for a specific restaurant. So it could also have been. So let's take Taco Bell. They got the whole sombrero thing.
Oh, that's what I want to do. Sombrero.
Yeah. So a more simple iteration would probably be just shoot a picture or with a sombrero and then brand it and then share it on social media. That would also be
absolutely. So something like that. That's our next one. So once we create it, one of the best parts is our team does not have to become part of like the admin, become an admin or anything to the business manager. There's actually a separate like platform called the camera effects, which Facebook has, which is linked to the business manager, but we don't need access to any part of the ads or anything. So we don't see anything. The client just adds us into the camera effects, and then we upload the effect. Takes about 24 hours, and we do get a testing link even before it goes live. So once we have that first version, we will share that link with the client, and then they test it and see if they like it. If we need to make any changes, then we can make changes as well when it's being updated. And then after we have the link, we create, or whoever the client is, creates all the assets for any of the ads that need to go out, anything that you want to build in the chatbot. Since I've done this a few times now, I have a full, complete asana, and I also do it in Trello for those of you who do not like asana. I have everything mapped out step by step, even if you're doing a campaign or a bot. So everything is pretty much streamlined. If you're going to be building that out like Lisa did, I will walk you through that. Or if you need our agency to actually pull that aspect out of it as well. Yeah.
Do you have some examples where AR can work really well? So the restaurant niche is a pretty straightforward, but I can see the menus and maybe point your camera on the table and then you see the food. Do you have any other examples where AR could absolutely crush it?
Oh God, this is a really great question. Well, recently I was really bored and I just went through the Sunday newspaper and went through all the ads. Every single ad that was in there, I could create an AR experience. So we have like property developers that are doing a new property. We could do a walkthrough, like a portal experience, and you can walk through and see what the apartment or the property would look like. Those are some of the more practical ones. We could do
real estate, for example. We get a lot of real estate advertisers there that want to generate leads for sellers, buyers, open house, whatever, that kind of stuff.
Absolutely, you could definitely do something like that, doing a portal that shows exactly what it looks like. However, something like that would be a little bit more expensive because you have to physically go inside and scan, do 3D scans of the entire place. But that is something that is very possible to do. I actually found, I was sitting next to like a teenager while I was doing this, and we saw one for like an ad for a washing machine, and we're like, okay, well, what can we do? And she's like, well, we could put your face in the washing machine and then we can have your face spin around. Yeah.
So if we are, let's say we want to start with AR tomorrow, what would be an entry level setup? What can be done for a reasonable amount of money, fairly easy to sell to a client, and would still have impact? Do you have any ideas?
Yeah, the best part is that you can learn everything for free. Facebook gives you all the documentation that you can learn everything from building a simple face filter to a larger experience that I was talking about. Facebook gives you every single thing. Free software.
Do you want to learn? I mean, I would say let the specialists do their work, but I can see this being an amazing pitch to one of your existing clients. So, Mr. and Mrs. Client, have you ever thought about AR? AR, and then you got what Lisa mentioned, and then, okay, just keep it simple. Okay, have a look at this. Do you have any suggestions for those that want to introduce AR to their clients for an entry level? What would be a great entry level effect?
I think the best way to actually share with a client is actually to show them what is happening on Instagram. If we look at what is happening on Instagram, people are using AR. They have been using it ever since stories launched. We just didn't have a word for it. We weren't calling it AR. People have been calling it face filters. Now we are able to create those. Before it was only inside Facebook or inside Instagram. Instagram created themselves. So if you are an agency and you want to take this and maybe possibly pitch that to your client, first reach out to me so I can help you walk through what is actually, I want to make you the expert first. And then you would go to the client and actually physically show them what is happening on Instagram if they've never used Instagram before. So whatever's happening on Instagram is slowly merging into the Facebook stories, and stories, as we know, is starting to pick up a little bit more.
Cool.
So that's what I recommend.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And also reach out to Lisa, because Lisa just had just a super simple pitch on how to explain this to your clients. Okay, let's loop back to actual what happened for Taco Bell, because that is amazing. I think you guys did an amazing job in creating the gamification, and you took it from the get-go to the next level. So for those who are not aware or don't know what these girls built, I'm just gonna show this. Let me see if I can, if this is gonna work. It should work. Let me, okay, here come. I recorded this yesterday, so here it goes.
I wanted to see you do it.
It's gonna be awkward because I'm in the office. Hey, what's up? Now let's look at my favorite home mouth. It's coming.
It's so funny. Everybody plays it differently. Oh, you can't hear the sound either. The sound's one of the best parts.
Yeah. I love what Lisa did. She actually created this viral loop inside of the bot. So with the share card, people can share it with their friends, and then they go through the exact same process as you did. So it's a viral loop that's happening. It is, and I was actually in this office in this old glass around it, so I was like, fuck, I'm sitting here with my phone and everything. But it's, look at it. It's super fun. It just rains tacos and everything, and then you gotta raining tacos.
You need a skill. People are hungry. Like they literally get hungry when they play it. I've had that. So many people say that. Yeah, and the kids play it so differently. The funniest thing was I showed it to my kids first off, and they just nailed it. They got like 29. You know, they were pushing out vouchers like there was no tomorrow, because they don't close and open their mouth. They just totally different experience. But then, you know, you see like a 6-year-old playing it and they're just loving it and having a laugh, and it's
But that's the whole thing. It's the fun part. So it's also incentivized. So we'll get there, and then we'll get to the results. But the beauty, what I think the beauty of this is what you mentioned before. So Taco Bell ran into the issue that the young guys, the other ones, the teenagers, were not getting into the restaurant anymore. Okay, that's a serious issue. Now, okay, how can we do to counter that? Okay, let's meet with Casey and let's come up with an idea. Let's do an AR game. Awesome, great. Execution is then key. And what you guys created is a super simple game. Let's just catch tacos with your mouth, and then you can earn points. And based on the number of points, if I'm correct, you get a coupon.
Yeah.
It's super shareable. It's fun. You keep doing it, and every time the tacos rain down, people talk about it. I got a, and now Taco Bell becomes a fun brand because they do the cool stuff. And that is what I think is absolutely amazing. It's simple. It's not simple. I know it's not simple, but it's super complex in all its simplicity, and that's what I love. So big props.
We're talking macro budget here. Like, we're playing potentially in a field that people might throw $1 million at radio and not get the kind of reach that you can get with something at this cost. Like that, it's just such it's within reach of small business, small, medium-sized business. It's really not overly expensive. And, the reason I reached out at first as well was the potential of so many other clients that I've got as well. That I work in, e-com warehousing space, and there's so many e-com clients in here, and, doing filters for them as well. That'll be something that we talk about next. There's just such a wide variety of possibility. And because that bot delivery of the coupon is just, it creates such a great conversation, but we're able to get so much more out of it. If people, we can talk to them about Club Taco, we can talk to them about the menu, we can talk about the history of Taco Bell, we can talk about the fresh food. We've had all that conversation, and they're thoroughly engaged. The engagement level is just beyond what I.
Yeah. So let's take it one step back. So what did you do? Okay, so this was the game. I would love to show it again, but we'll show it again a little bit. But because I just think it's cool, and everybody needs to see it and needs to understand the simplicity of it. And you mentioned something really important. This is within reach of, let's say, any small business, and I know it is. And if you want to get the actual details on pricing and everything, I suggest you reach out to Casey or Lisa or whatever. We're not going to dive into that right now, but trust me, it is. Okay, Lisa, game was developed. You got it then. It was approved. Launch. How did you launch it? What did you do?
Yeah, so the actual launch was probably clunkier than I would have liked in terms of we sat down with the business and made a decision on how many coupons were going to be delivered. When we launched it via an ad initially, but when we launched it, the ripple through the franchisees suddenly was, no, we don't want that many coupons. I don't want it in my restaurant. So it was just a quick pullback of, all right, we're going to need to change this. So we pulled it back to less coupons. There was also, prior to that, trying to figure out how to deliver the coupon, because we can't, the game itself, I wouldn't call it a limitation. It actually worked out to be far more advantageous. But in terms of delivering the coupon, if you take a photo of it, obviously someone can just redeem that coupon thousands of times. So the redemption of the coupon was really important. So building out that bot so that we could manage the redemption was where, we built in some really cool stuff into the messenger bot. But then we launched it via Facebook ad. Yeah.
Yeah, just quick one. So the objective of the game was, so people they click the ad, they get the link to play the game. As you can just put this on here. So this is the actual the screen, so you can play it again, but you also get a coupon delivered.
Yeah.
The coupon was, so you could play the game twice, if I'm correct. And then you could
so it was 5 times in the midst of the Facebook ad. As soon as it launched, it got pulled back to 2. So it was a mad dash to redesign the bot. But yeah, so you play it once, you get delivered the coupon. It's got a redemption link on the coupon for the server. And then it fires off the, it's an immediate second chance to play with a share card. So share card first, and then another chance to play, and then a second coupon gets delivered if they play it again. And then there's a few more sequences in there to, get them to sign up to Club Tacos and all sorts of stuff.
So, okay, so you played the game, then what happened? You generated a coupon code. That coupon code was pushed into the messenger bot. Somebody got a message, hey, Casey, thank you for playing our game. This is a coupon. Now go and redeem your coupon in one of the Taco Bell restaurants.
Yeah.
That's just the start. So so a lot of things happening here. Now you introduced the brand, you created brand awareness, you created a fun experience connected to the brand, which I think is worth so much more than just a coupon code. But people actually came into the restaurant and redeemed the coupons.
They
How many
did.
coupons how many coupons were redeemed? Or no, how many coupons were generated and redeemed?
So I'll just pull up my stats, but it's at the moment it's 897 go into the bot. 752 coupons were delivered and 91 coupons were redeemed. But that being said, we paused it slightly for the last week because we had a little glitch in it. So, we've only spent, that's $320 in Facebook ads. That's it.
$20?
$320.
$320.
But still, really, I mean, we're talking about, it's about $7,500 in, revenue for the business. But that's only like really 2 weeks that it was out there, and it was really only 2 or 3 ads. We did one organic post with because originally I was doing it with a ref URL. We then did one with the keyword tool, and the organic post just went nuts. But then as soon as we released, we realised that it had a glitch in it, so we had to pull it. So as of next week, we'll redo that, and then we'll respark the ads, and that could see a completely different result. But also, I have to mention that without giving them a hard time, it's hard for there's 31 restaurants, a lot of staff. It's hard for them to manage that coupon redemption process. So there could well be quite a number of more redemptions that they just looking at it and they're not actually, marking it redeemed. So
hey, let's recap that really quick. You spend, so the game was developed, you ran ads for 2 weeks, you spent 320 Australian dollars. I'm not sure how much that is in actual
probably about 200, at the moment the dollar's pretty bad, so it's probably about
220 US, 320 Australian, and probably 200 euros for all those global citizens out there. And you generated about how many coupons?
91. We generated 252 coupons were delivered.
750 coupons delivered.
Yeah, and 91 redeemed so far.
91 redeemed so far with an expected revenue of.
So it's about, that's really putting it on lightly because that's about $70 for a table, and it's probably a lot more than that. But, $7,500 in revenue.
There you go. And that's just revenue, guys. That's amazing. So $200, $7,000 revenue. That probably covers the whole project. I'm just going to leave it right there. But think about what happens next. Think about that the brand was introduced to the young people. They come back, they shared, there's fun. You got their data in Messenger. You can send them sponsored messages. You can send them an update. You can do whatever the fuck you want. Well, whatever, not everything, but you took your first steps towards Casey, we lost Casey there. You took the first steps towards the new generation that will bring in so much more revenue. I'm going to pull Casey back. So I think that's amazing. Lisa, also looking at the time, because I know Casey needs to go in about 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. What was your main learnings from this process? What would you do different next time you're running a project like this?
Yeah, I think the excitement of the game itself kind of took over a little bit for me. I was like, let's just get that out there. So I really need to spend a lot more time on building out that bot. I mean, the sequence, I was kind of doing things as people were coming into the bot, like adding sequences on and then adding this on and going, right, I need to put this there and pulling stuff, which is kind of what you do sometimes when you're building bots. But
you have to, yeah.
You get, the better you're able to pre-plan that and get it really solid first. But, it's one of those things, it's not like the game's going anywhere. So, like next week we'll do different things with it and, still push it out there. And, so I mean, really from a learning perspective, it's just getting that infrastructure a bit tighter to start off with.
Cool. What was your main learning from this whole process? So besides what you do different, what's the key takeaway?
For me, it's just the ridiculous impact of Messenger. Like, I've just exploded in my face in the last 3 weeks because I'm so excited about it. I can't stop talking about it to clients. I can't stop thinking about amazing ways of, what we can do with this and that. And now everyone's desperate for their bot to be built, and, and it just makes complete sense. The more you sit back and think about it from the direction of marketing and technology, where it is going, it just makes complete sense. People want and need conversations. We've got the technology to build those conversations. This static stuff is just going to be left behind, and you need to get on that Messenger train.
I love it. Casey, quick one, and then we're going to wrap it up, and maybe we got some questions. What can we expect from AR in the near future?
I think the thing that we can expect is Instagram to be opening up a little bit, probably within the next 6 months, Instagram to open up to brands, and that's where we have this explosion. What we've been seeing is a lot of the independent creators building up this huge audience very organically and very quickly. And we all know, did you read about Instagram getting rid of the likes kind of thing recently? There's saying that they're going to get rid of the likes. But what I want to kind of get back with and kind of echo what Lisa said about the power of Messenger. I was actually invited to go down to the Facebook office here in Singapore, so it's about 10 minutes away, to speak with the Spark AR team. I showed them the bot that Lisa had made and what we created, and they thought it was amazing because nobody had been doing the bots with the AR effect. So I think now that we have I guess we kind of can't crack the code. We did something very innovative using the Facebook technology with the Messenger and with the Facebook camera. And they were just so floored. They were like, okay, we need your case study on this. So I think we're going to be able to see more people taking suit from what we had done using the Messenger and the Facebook camera, and maybe even Instagram with Messenger as well. So that's where I see the future going through with definitely with the chatbots.
Love it. Last one before we're going to wrap it up, and then I'm going to show the game once more. What would be your advice for those who want to start using AR, let's say tomorrow?
Hit me up. Talk to me. I'll make you an
I like that. We're just going to show the game once more. You guys got to see this. Just want to make sure that everybody understands what these girls actually created. So there it goes. It's going to be awkward because I'm in the office. Check it out. And there it goes. It's loading. And now it rains tacos. And you can see I'm actually catching tacos. And this is...
My favorite is those for Eeyore that comes up when you...
Missed 1, 2, 3. And at the end of the game, a coupon code. I'm getting a coupon code, and I'm going to share it. And it's awesome. I love it. I truly love it. It's amazing. Super well done.
You can't eat the piñata because it goes,
No, you've done really well. I mean, Lisa, Casey, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge about AR and Messenger and what you can do and the learnings and everything, and also the amazing results you got. So if there are any questions, Pangai, I hope I pronounce your name correctly. Are there platforms where anyone can start making AR programs? Casey, that one's for you.
Yeah.
Are there platforms where anyone can start making AR programs? That's a question from Pangai. Pangai, sorry, man.
Yeah, that's a really great question. So Facebook's Spark AR is an open source platform. There's also Snapchat Lens, so you can become a Snapchat Lens creator. You can actually learn from a lot of YouTube videos. There's also the AR Kit platform, which is Apple's AR platform. That one is another open source platform that you can learn just by Googling and following the documentation. If you know how to read documentation, then you could probably pick it up really quickly.
Oh, that raises a question with me. Is the AR for Facebook and for Snap, is that same but different, or is it completely two different beasts?
If they are two different beasts, they're two different platforms, but Facebook makes it a lot easier because there's a lot of visual programming where you don't have to write the lines of code. On Snapchat, you do have to write a little bit more code.
Okay, awesome. Fun guys, did that answer your question? Aaron's here. What's up, Aaron? Tacos. I like tacos. Yeah, you better download that game and get some tacos in your face, because that's actually what's happening.
The good thing is you don't have to download anything. It's just already in Messenger. So
that's the whole thing. The beauty of it. That's the beauty of it. It actually works there, and it's. We're going to share the link to it in a little bit. I'm going to discuss that with Lisa first. Fun guys, another question. What's the tentative cost of a simple AR program done by an expert? What do they normally charge? Well, just go to the link I shared there. You can see it in a crawler there. It's bit.ly/botfather-AR. That will redirect you to Casey's website. You can take it there with Casey. And I think feel free to reach out to Lisa as well if you got any questions about processes and everything. So guys, again, Lisa, Casey, thank you so much for your time and sharing. Sorry, Casey, you got another one?
Like anytime I get a new project, I know I'm going right to Lisa to build out a bot experience. I have never seen anything like that before. So it's like, yep, that's my go-to.
I want to say something too, though, to anyone listening, to marketers, that omni-channel stuff is going to be where you need to be thinking. So it's what I mean by that is no longer the silo kind of understanding of I'll do some Facebook ads over here and I'll do some email marketing over here, I'll do some Messenger. It's that circle that you can create with I'm going to do some AR and that's going to connect to a bot and that bot's going to connect to email and that email is going to come back to the game. That is where it's at, and that's where you get all the really great results.
That is and you didn't even realize it, but this is the perfect hook, and we're going to end it because next week on the 30th of April, we'll be having a live session just like this with Stephen Black, who is an amazing Amazon marketer, but also one of the best content marketers out there, and he is doing omni-channel like nobody else. So that's going to be another one for you guys, which we're going to talk about next week. Guys, again, thank you very much, girls. Lisa, Casey, have an amazing day, night, whatever it is these days. For those who are watching, whether it's in the live or in the replay, feel free to drop any questions in the comments. Make sure you check out Casey's website. It's right there, bit.ly/botfather-AR, and reach out if you got any questions. For now, we're going to wrap this up, and thank you for being here. And again, Lisa, Casey, thank you for your time. You girls are amazing.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.